you talked a little bit about, mistakes in forming your thought processes. Are there particular mistakes that people tend to make on the LSAT or when studying for it?
Yeah, totally. So mistake when studying for it, the biggest one I would say is not properly reviewing LSAT prep tests. We talked about that. But in terms of mistakes that people make in general, I would say one of the biggest things that stands out is just doing too much on the flip side. Doing exam after exam, you can reach burnout with something like that. So I'd say less is more sometimes. You do fewer exams and review them in more depth. That's the biggest takeaway I could give your listeners.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely good advice. I think there's a good range of, not studying enough and studying too much and stressing yourself out. So I'm glad that you pointed that out.
Yeah, the biggest thing is really consistency. Having a reasonable, properly thought out day-by-day study plan so that you know exactly what to do every single day over the entire course of your prep. A lot of times people will wake up and they say, I want to study. What should I do? They'll just do another exam. But that's pointless. You're not learning anything from it. It's not enough to simply measure your progress and then, track it on a spreadsheet or something. That tells you where you're at, but you're not gaining anything from that and you're just burning through material.
Mm-hmm. So would you recommend creating a study schedule before you begin to study for the LSAT?
Yeah, I absolutely would. And you want to make it reasonable for yourself. So someone in your position, Lauren, studying 4 to 5 hours a week, you would want to certainly assign yourself less work. But you'd also want to, since you're busy, you'd want to block out specific time in your calendar to make sure the studying actually happens. And you don't want to save it for like the last thing of the day after work and after school when you're beat.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say
that's true.
So maybe during lunch, maybe before work or school, or maybe if you're in college on Fridays and treat it like a 4-credit class.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of free week-by-week schedules on my website, but then people wanted more. So I actually did go ahead and create day-by-day study plans for all different timelines, whether you're taking the LSAT in a month or taking it 7 months from now. And they get super specific in telling you exactly what to do every single day, which prep test problems to complete, which guides to use, which explanations to use, and how to go through it systematically, building a foundation. So you start with the foundation first, getting the fundamentals, then you go into pacing, doing timed sections, and finally endurance with full-length 5-section exams with a 10-minute break.
That's great. I'm going to have to check out some of those resources that you mentioned because that seems wonderful. And it's honestly, I just think it's wonderful that you really devote so much time to this and that you want to see students do well. And it's not the kind of competitive atmosphere that people talk about when studying for the LSAT or in law school. It's nice that you are so encouraging.
Oh, I really appreciate that, Lauren. This is what I do full time. It's my passion. I love it. And I really love seeing the transformations in students' thought processes to come around to a different way of thinking. This way of thinking, this LSAT mindset, seeing the exam from the test maker's point of view and being critical and skeptical. These are skills that don't only apply to the LSAT, but they also carry forward into law school and into your career. So it's never too early to start adopting this new way of thinking.
Yeah, that's honestly, I keep saying it, but really thank you so much for even reaching out to me and just wanting to chat about this, because even just in this short conversation, I do think I am thinking about the LSAT and the way the questions are structured in a different way. So I'm optimistic.
I'm really glad to help however I can, Lauren, and I hope that this is valuable for anyone watching on your channel or mine, and we can get some more people higher scores.
Yeah, I hope so too.